Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Box Hill, but there is a person assigned to introduce them. Before I go into that presentation, let me just tell you a bit about this day, or the World Toilet Day. Basically, the World Toilet Day was officially recognized in 2012 by the United Nations to be celebrated on November 19. And the whole idea is to bring awareness to the global sanitation crisis. I'm sure everybody who's attendant here knows how the lack of sanitation is a crisis globally. So it is estimated that 4.2 billion people of the 7-point-something billion people around the world live without safety managed sanitation, and around 673 million people practice open defecation. And I'm pretty sure that this is clearly a sign of a cause of many other health problems as well. So this year, 2020, the theme of the World Toilet Day is sustainable sanitation and climate change. Those two are the major phrases that have been talked about continuously throughout the couple of years that are passed as well. So this year we are going to be celebrating it bigly, and there are different ways of celebrating it throughout Rotary. There are different action groups that are working, so you can actually see and look at the Rotary resources and the way to really voice our opinions on this matter, because we need to do a lot. And part of what we are doing today is basically a contribution to that effort. When we come to Ethiopia, there is a lot of problem related to sanitation and the lack of it, and I think that's obvious. 60 to 80% of communicable diseases in our country are actually attributed to limited access to safe water and inadequate sanitation. And I think this actually knocks on the doors of every one of us, I believe. Some statistics, which was made by UNICEF, a study made by UNICEF outlines this. 65% of households in Ethiopia have access to improved water sources, but unfortunately, only 6.3% of the households have access to improved sanitation. And 70,000 under 5 children die every year due to diarrhea. And I think it's very clear that this disease is actually caused by the lack of sanitation, and I believe it's clear to everyone. And 17% of the population of Ethiopia practice improved hygiene behaviors and live in healthy environments. So the rest, 83% of the people do not have an improved hygiene behaviors and not the access of it for the most part of it. So I think we are in a time and in a country which is highly under the problem of lacking sanitation, and the efforts made by clubs like Rotary are actually doing a lot, because we are building sanitation facilities, we are doing a lot of projects on WASH, and we are doing our part, but that effort is really less compared to the need that is highly seen throughout the country. So today we are going to be looking at a video prepared by the Rotary Club that I mentioned earlier on, to see what we are doing in respect to that. And the general idea of Operation Toilets and the World Toilet Day is going to be discussed as well. So without further ado, I'd like to give the chance to Rotarian Innocent, our membership director, to introduce our guest speakers. Rotarian Innocent, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, President Adam. Playing with technology and getting access to my notes. So I have a pleasure to really introduce our guests, 3 of them. I will start with Mark Bala, who is the president of the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central in District 9810 in Australia, and vice chair of the WASH Rotary Action Group, WASRAG. He was introduced to Rotary around 7 years ago by a business colleague in Nasika in India. He joined the club around 4 months later, which was in March 2014, bringing a small significant project, WASH in Schools project, with joining Rotary Mark has attended and spoken at Rotary International Convention in Brazil, South Korea, Canada, and Germany. He has also presented at 10 Rotary District Conferences in Australia, the USA, and India. That's a very short bio, but I'm sure he may introduce himself later on at length. Our second guest is Brian Martin, who is a past president of the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central in Melbourne, also Australia. And he was a district membership chair in the Rotary year 2011. District governor in the Rotary year 2012-2013, and district PR public relations chair 2014-2015, and the district learning and development coordinator in 2015-2017. Brian is a multiple Paul Harris Fellow recipient, a member of the Paul Harris Society, and he was recognized with the Medal of Order of Australia in 2015, and the Rotary Service Above Self Award in 2016. In 2019, he was jointly awarded a District Service Award with Mark Bala for outstanding service in promoting the Rotary Foundation. Then we have, I hope I will pronounce the name correctly, Farag Svey, who is an international Rotary program manager and interim communication and marketing manager at International Needs Australia, INA. He oversees INA's relief and development programs across 8 countries in Asia and Africa. Before joining INA, he worked with Singapore-based Asia P3 Hub as senior water, sanitation, and hygiene, and partnership advisor, where he built and managed multi-sectorial partnerships across Asia and the Pacific. Farag has been in the NGO sector for over 28 years, having worked with large organizations such as Save the Children and World Vision in Australia and overseas. Farag holds a master's degree in integrated water management from the University of Queensland, Australia, and a bachelor's degree in education from the Royal University of Phnom Penh in Cambodia. Over to you, President Adam.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Innocent, for that wonderful introduction of our guest speakers. So, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Rotarians, what we are going to see is a video, which is a discussion amongst the 3 of our guest speakers, talking to us about Operation Toilets and what they have been doing, especially in Ethiopia. So, without further ado, I'd like to ask our host, Kidana Mare, to put on the video so that everybody can see.
Hello everyone, my name's Mark Balla and I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central in Melbourne, Australia. So pleased to be here with you today to tell you the story of the exciting new projects that we are starting in Ethiopia. The project is focused on WASH, water, sanitation and hygiene. The reason we're doing this is that my club has been involved in the WASH space for a number of years now. It came about almost by accident that during a visit to India some years ago on business, I was on a train. And while on that train, I met a couple of young men. They started talking to me about my life in Australia, and then I started to learn about their life in India. They lived in a slum in Mumbai, one of the biggest slums in the world. They took me to visit a school in the slum, and I was shocked by what I saw there. The school had no toilets. As a result of no toilets in the school, the impact on the lives of the children in the school was truly terrible, most particularly the girls. Many of them had simply dropped out of school. Now, I've been to India many times since that visit, and those visits to India have, since that time, have primarily been with my Rotary Club and where we've visited schools and we've started projects building toilets in schools all around India. And most particularly, we've built hundreds of toilets, and more importantly, we've also brought education programs into the schools. Some of the toilets we've built look just like the one you're looking at here. Importantly, these children, through the programs that we bring into the schools, have been learning behaviours that are going to stay with them for life. To the extent that I've actually written a book about my own journey. This book tells the story of the past 6 years within my Rotary Club and the work that we've done starting from the beginning, really uncertain as to what we should do next, to a point now where we're working with global experts like International Needs Australia on our new project in Ethiopia. And in fact, if you're ever able to read this book, you'll even find a chapter about it in Ethiopia. Now with that, I'd like to introduce Brian Martin, past District Governor of District 9810 in Melbourne, Australia, past President of my club, the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central, and the Chair of Operation Toilets Australia. Brian's been to India with me on a couple of occasions and has developed his own passion and deep knowledge of the space that we're working in as well. Brian, welcome. Over to you.
Thanks, Mark. Well, the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central is located in Melbourne, Australia, and it has 55 members. We're very active in international Rotary projects with two major initiatives, Operation Cleft and Operation Toilets. Now, Operation Cleft started 14 years ago, where children of disadvantaged families in Bangladesh have been provided with over 14,500 operations to repair cleft pallets since we first formed in 2006, using a team of local surgeons. Now, we got involved at the time because cleft surgery was not considered life-threatening by their government. And without cleft surgery, the lifelong opportunities of the children when they grow up, especially girls, is severely limited. Here we see the young Janet with the before and after photographs. Now, Operation Toilets is an entity of the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central that has a focus on behavioural change, and through the participation in water, sanitation and hygiene projects internationally. We operate in India and Ethiopia, and we have the special aim to improve the educational opportunities for adolescent girls in schools, and importantly, to improve the overall health of all family members in the community. Now, it's certainly a great privilege to be able to use your skills and knowledge as a Rotarian to be involved with projects that improve the lives of others somewhere in the world, as Mark and I experienced when we visited the school in India. The funding for all these projects comes from the charity of Rotary, the Rotary Foundation. And this is how the system works. Rotary clubs and Rotarians and organisations and interested individuals donate money to the foundation. After 3 years, 50% of the district's total donations for that particular year is returned to the district for projects and programs. And that's in the form of district designated funds. And these can be applied to district grants and global grants together with the Rotary donations. Now, most importantly, for global grants, the Rotary Foundation will match donations by 100% from districts, which is very important. And finally, donations from Rotary clubs can also supplement global grant budgets. Now, the structure of Rotary global grants, you need a host sponsor, in other words, an in-country sponsor. You need an international sponsor. And in this case, with INA, we're using what we call the cooperating organisation system, where we have chosen an organisation that has experience in the country in which the project's located. Importantly, we always run pilot projects before we do larger global grants. And it's a requirement of the global grant system now to undertake a community needs analysis to ensure that the project is first wanted by the local community and also owned and really involves the local community. And our pilot project was completed in 2016, where we did partner with International Needs Australia and the BBBC, a local NGO. We then undertook a community needs analysis, again with those two partners, and we used that in preparation for our global grant application. This is the process you go through when you develop a global grant. You obviously develop the project concept. You seek a cooperating organisation partner if required, and you also seek either a host or international sponsor. Now, the order in which those three things are completed will depend on the circumstances. You then undertake a community needs analysis. On the basis of the findings from the community needs analysis, you develop a project plan and budget. You then sign MOUs with the two organisations, and if you're using our cooperating organisation, they also sign those understandings. Very important. Now, most importantly, you then go out and seek project donors, and we tend to involve clubs throughout the world in our projects, and you then submit the global grant application once you get those commitments for the funding of the project. And then on approval of the project, you ask the donors to transfer the funds to the foundation. You establish a bank account for the project. You actually run the project and pay contractors. And then you provide reports to the Rotary Foundation on the project's outcomes. Now, with our global grant in Ethiopia, it's around about $90,000 US. It's quite a substantial project. And our host sponsor is the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa, and we are the international sponsor. And of course, we're involved with International Needs Australia, which is based in Melbourne, and also BBBC, based in Addis Ababa.
Thanks very much, Brian. I'm very pleased to introduce you to Pirak Sfai. Pirak is the International Program Manager for International Needs Australia, developed a considerable level of trust with, and they bring something to the table that not all Rotarians can necessarily bring, because they have specialised very much in the space that they're working in. And so it's a great pleasure to hand over to Pirak to tell us a little bit about his organisation and the work that they do in Ethiopia.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure for International Need Australia to be partnering with Rotary Club to implement this important project in Ethiopia. International Need Australia is a Christian organization fully accredited by the Australian government. INA is committed to building innovative partnership for community well-being and empowering women and children in our work. Our vision is a just world where all people are treated equally so that they can reach their God-given potential. Now, we support projects in 8 countries across Asia and Africa regions, and those projects focus on these 4 thematic areas. International Need Australia works with 10 partners in those 8 countries. INA not only support projects implemented by those partners, but also work to build capacity of our partners to ensure that their work meets local and international standards. Now, in Ethiopia, you would have heard from Brian, we are partnering with an organization called All Bible Baptist Church Childcare and Community Development, or in short, BBBC. It's a non-governmental organization. It's a faith-based organization located in Addis Ababa, an organization that is dedicated to reduce poverty through demand-driven, child-focused integrated community development. So INA is supporting 3 projects in Ethiopia implemented by BBBC. All projects are based in a district called Alimo in Hadia zone. And now one of our projects is called Shumo Education and Livelihood Development Project. This project focuses on 3 areas. The first is to ensure that girls and boys have access to primary and pre-primary school education. The second component is to work to improve food security of families, to enable them to be able to afford basic needs for their families. And the third component of that project is to increase the income of farming households, self-help group members, and widowed members. Now, most of our projects work primarily with women and women-headed households. Our second project is called Maternal and Child Health Project. Again, it's one that has three components as well. So the first one is to try to improve the quality of healthcare services, working in 3 health centers within the district, together with 12 health posts that are associated with those health centers. The second component is to really try to create demand for health services, and that is through improving community awareness and demand so that they can start to seek medical services from nearby health centers or health posts. The third component is to ensure that households have access to clean water. This is really an important part of ensuring that households are healthy, have access to water that is free from contamination. So these are the 2 projects among the 3 projects that we have in Ethiopia. I will talk about the third project, which is the one that we are partnering with Rotary Club on, but I would just pass it on to Mark, and then I will come back to talk about the third project.
Great, thank you very much, Parag. Quite an impressive organisation, I must say. And from what you've just heard now, I'm sure you understand why we have chosen to continue partnering with International Needs Australia. You've heard both Brian and Parag talk about partners. Networking and partnership is a critical component of building successful projects in the Rotary world. We at the Rotary Club of Box Hill Central pride ourselves on our ability to really reach Rotary, the full breadth of the Rotary network around the world, both for this project, Operation Toilets, and also for our other projects, including Operation Cleft that was mentioned to you by Brian earlier. Our partners within Rotary for the Operation Toilets projects come from all over North America and Southeast Asia, from Australia and New Zealand, from the UK and from Europe. And a lot of that's come from on getting out and talking to Rotarians at Rotary events in Australia and around the world. We have an international convention every year, which is a wonderful networking opportunity for Rotarians. And as many of you listening to this presentation today will be Rotarians, I'm sure you'll already be aware of the power of our broad network. We also like to network beyond Rotary, and a lot of that is done by making sure we tell the important story of bringing water, sanitation and hygiene to underprivileged communities. One way we tell this story, of course, is through my book. I've also done a TED Talk, which you can find by hunting for my name on YouTube, and other members of our committee also make sure that they tell people this important story anytime they have the opportunity. And the end result has been quite phenomenal. We've had support from so many clubs and districts around the world that has allowed us to, I believe, reach up to upwards of 100,000 children since we started doing this work. And Parag, the project that you're running with us is through a program called Community-Led Total Sanitation and Hygiene. It's a fascinating concept, and we'd like to hear more from you about how that's going to work in this project we're doing with you in Ethiopia.
Thank you, Mark. It's a project that is exciting to every one of us here. It's been a few years in the making, and it's really exciting that now we are able to start this project. Now, this is a 2-year project starting in November this year. So we have 2 years ahead of us to implement this project. Now, this project has 3 components. Again, we love number 3. Every project that we have, all of the 3 projects have 3 components. So for this project, the first component is to ensure that households have access to sanitation facilities. So we are using the word sanitation here. So if you don't understand what that means, basically it means toilet. And Second component is around behavior change, and that is to ensure that households members use the toilets, practice hand washing, so that they can be free from diseases such as diarrhea. Now, the third component is around improving protection and management of water sources. We all know that contaminated water can cause waterborne diseases, such as diarrhea. The strategy of this project is quite interesting. I would just, summarize this strategy. But the first one about setting example. So we want to really work to create demand for people, for households to have toilet. But at the same time, we want to ensure that supply is there, and that is through working with local enterprises, who will be upskilled, who will be able to provide the resources that household would need to build their own latrines. As an example, we will be working with 60 households to build latrines using sort of a subsidy approach. So we will work with local enterprises and these households to ensure that we build 60 toilets for households as what we call sanitation promotion. Basically, it's about promoting the product of toilet, the use of toilet, why it's important. But as we partner with local enterprises, we also adopt best practices around the toilet model that is going to be long-lasting, going to be easy to look after, that is hygienic. At the same time, we will be building model latrines in public places in 12 villages. We will also build latrines in 4 schools. But that's not enough. We are working with more than 1,000 households there. So this approach doesn't require a lot of resources because it's about empowering community to take action. But they have to take action to use their own resources to build toilets for themselves. So our job would be to link them, this 1,000 plus household, with local enterprises who have the skills, the resources to provide, to meet the demand of households. So I talk about community empowerment approach, and that is around community-led total sanitation approach. And this is an internationally renowned approach. In short, it's called CLTS. It is low cost. It can be implemented at scale. It empowers community to drive behavior change in a collective manner within their villages. Now, the project is adopting this approach, and this approach has already been integrated into the government of Ethiopia's health policy. So the project will be implemented in line with government guidelines. So in a nutshell, this approach has 4 steps, as you can see on the screen there. The first is around preparing. This is about preparing community, building rapport, train village health promoters who are there in the front line to ignite community to take action. So this is about training all of the stakeholders, health workers, health volunteer health promoters, influential leaders. It is really important that they really have the knowledge on the subject matter to be able to work alongside us to drive change. The second step is what we call triggering, and this is about leading community through a process of really what we call a walk of shame. It's more about helping them understand that the current practice of using inappropriate toilet, as you can see, for example, in the photo there, or go to the open, will cause issue for their health, and to sort of have a bit of a sense of disgust and shame, and that would sort of trigger their desire for change. So this is about triggering them to take action collectively as a village. So there's a process of working to ensure that they will take action to build toilets. We link them with local enterprises, how they can get their toilet and things like that. The third step is really to monitor implementation within villages to make sure that those that are lagging behind will be supported. There probably are households that may fall through the cracks. Those are the households that need support. And it's all about getting community members to help each other. This model is more about really eradicating open defecation, making sure that people have proper toilet of some sort that will stop them from going to the open or using some sort of toilet that is unhygienic. So the last part is around verification, because through this process, a village has to be declared open defecation free. And the last step of the process to verify the village to ensure that everyone has access to toilet and that they stop going to the open to defecate. So there's a process of verifying, of recognizing that they have achieved this milestone, and that's a process of certification, of celebration. And this is a time when they feel proud that the whole village have taken collective action to eradicate what considered to be harmful to their health, and that is open defecation. So this is a model that is about empowering community to take collective action. It's not us coming from outside to tell them to change, but we are there to facilitate them through a process of assessing their situation, their current practices, and for them to identify what they need to do to correct those inappropriate practices. So throughout the course of this project, INA will be able to come back and share the result with Rotarians again. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Perak. It's fantastic to hear from you about how a partnership can be developed from these early conversations that we had a few years ago before we started our pilot project, and how it developed into something so substantial. When we took this idea of doing community-led total sanitation in a project to the Rotary Foundation, their response was one of excitement. There's not that many projects that Rotary clubs around the world have done working with CLTS as the fundamental basis for the project. So it's great to be leaders in something like this, and it's really exciting to be working with a system that is approved by the Ethiopian government. It certainly tells us that we are all on the right track together. I'm very excited to see the outcomes.
All right. I think we are done with the video. Thank you very much, Rotary Kidan Mariam, for putting the video on. And I only heard a few network interruptions. Otherwise, the video went great. So my fellow Rotarians, that is a presentation by our three guests today. And we have heard a lot about sanitation and what Rotary clubs and Rotary Foundation is actually doing in order to combat the lack of sanitation and pure hygiene for many, many people in a country like ours. Before we go to discussions, if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, I'd like to call upon another Rotarian to the platform, so he can talk to us about another very fantastic project. That project is called Saw Allah, and for that I'd like to call upon past president of the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa Central Mala. He's also the current country membership director for Ethiopia under the District 9212. He's a guy from a road track background. He's full of passion and energy, and like he said on the introduction, he's really into building toilets. So, fellow Rotarians, without further ado, I'd like to call upon past President Henok to the stage. PP Henok, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you once again, President Adam. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm just recovering from a very long week flu, and I don't have the voice used to, here. So I apologize for that. Yes, we're very excited because, so the project we presented last time at Rotary Addis Ababa West. I hope I got the endorsement from that club, Sharon and Gannet. Those are the people I need to be friend with. And today they're doing it here with you at the oldest club. Well, for me is really an honor, Mr. President. So I was expecting the people like in reality, honestly speaking, like the speakers. I didn't know that in the video in some way, but like he did an amazing job because I emailed Brian 2 years ago and I was looking for a partner at Rotary Club, and he responded like briefly and a very warm and kind email. That was 2 years ago, and he mentioned about your wash project, the Shambo project that they're doing,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so I was hoping that I ask him a question live. So, but like well done. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's the new world order. I love it, and there's I think nothing better than celebrating World Solid Day in this way. Congratulations once again, Mr. President. Okay, allow me to share my screen so I talk about Sohar a little bit. Oh, let's go. What? How do you do that? Okay, and I don't think it's taking me to my.
Oh, okay. Rotarian Kidanware, as you are the host, can you please assist Henok?
I think now you can share your.
I can now.
Yes.
Where? I don't. Sorry.
Oh,
I was
there is
like,
a button that says share.
I did, but I don't think it's happening. Can you see my screen?
No.
No. Oh my gosh. Last time it worked. Hold on.
If it is a presentation, maybe you can send it to Kidana Mariam so that he can share the screen on Telegram.
Okay. 1 minute. Let's see.
I have sent you a message on Telegram. You can send it there.
Like not on Telegram, but I can email it to you.
Yes, you can.
I don't know, like I use Keynote, so that's the problem. So if you use a PowerPoint, I think it might distort it. Mr. President, I used it last time. It worked perfectly. It directly took me to the screen, but this time I don't know. I updated my Mac, so.
Adam.
Yes, Sharon. Yeah.
While Henok is getting his presentation in order, shall we talk about Rotary Ethiopia's application to the RI-USAID WASH partnership, and let Henok interrupt us as soon as he gets the presentation up?
That's a great idea. So Sharon, you have the floor.
Okay.
We're very eager to hear you about that.
Sorry?
Yes.
We're very eager to hear about this initiative.
Thank you so much, Rotary. Nice to see you. Yeah. So for everybody listening, we have been applying, or we have applied for the RI-USAID WASH partnership. They're looking for a third focal country. We're in competition with about 15 other countries. We had a great initial reaction to our application from Erica Gwynn at WASH and her colleague Mo Kita. And we have since then done some work in Ethiopia on strengthening our ties. And we have sent an addendum off to Erica Gwynn. So let me just update you on what we've done. We now have 13 Rotary clubs, or 61% of all clubs in Ethiopia have responded favorably to participate in this project. And that includes the 2 clubs in Awassa, Boba, Jima, Lalibela, and Gondar. 17 Rotaractor clubs, or 100% of Rotaractor clubs, are eager to participate. And that includes Bardar, Jima, and Arba Minch. So we have a nice spread of clubs throughout Ethiopia now. With past President Yamani and PDG Ezra in Seattle and Larry Logue, past President Larry Logue in Seattle, we are forming an Ethiopian task force, a water task force of professionals from all clubs that will participate in water projects. It doesn't have to be with just this RIUSAD partnership, but it will strengthen Rotary Ethiopia's action and collaboration on WASH projects in the future in Ethiopia. And we will hire probably a water engineer and form a Rotaractor community corps. Now I see that Henok is here now, so let's turn it over to Henok, and I'll continue afterwards.
All right. Thank you, PhD Shara. Henok, thank God it's working.
It's just working.
Yes, you have the floor.
Okay. Good evening once again. Sorry, I'll go quickly through that. Sorry, Sharon, for the interruption. So, yes.
No problem.
Okay, great. So, the project or the initiative name called Sawale, Adam mentioned it. Sawale means literally translated as there is someone. This is a phrase we often use when we sit in the toilet and somebody knocks the door to say that there is someone in the toilet. So that's how we like the name come to this project. That's how we coin this toilet project. So everybody loves it. So as a brand, we love it. So it was simple. Addis is very Ethiopia when it comes to hygiene sanitation. President Adam mentioned lots of like data and figures earlier. And we said, like, as a Rotarian, we have to do nothing about it, or like, we have to, do our part. That's why we gave birth to Soalem. So with my Addis Ababa and some partners, the British Council and another innovative grant, small scheme, innovative grant, we secure about 700,000 Ethiopian. Then we piloted at the dirtiest and busiest corner of Addis, which is at Magananya Terminal. I'm sure some of you know the place. And that's how we gave birth to the pilot project. So what we like, the 3 areas we are focusing is one, okay, we definitely contribute for the hygiene and sanitation situation in the urban centers. And 2, it will serve as a livelihood and like a job creation scheme for marginalized group of society. In our case, we are targeting women with disability. And the third and most important is like, as a Rotarian, knowing that, the toilet is our first ever service project, and we're doing nothing about it here in Ethiopia. We believe that, this can be our flagship initiative, and that started. But like, so I'm not going to bother you with all the data and the figures, but I tell you some of the social cultural myths in Ethiopia that we believe are like one of the reasons why we want to push much further. We Ethiopians, we're very, very proud people. It's full of pride, and to the extent that going to the toilet is considered as a taboo. So it starts from there. So we say that if to address the toilet issue, first we have to honestly address about work on our mindset when it comes to toilets. So you know, this this comic, you know, it says like in Ethiopian kuruz boshnen, በየቦታው አናራም. You know, like nobody like it's a taboo to mention about, you know, going to toilet or doing poo or pee. So this is our very important, like we call them our prime standpoints. They saw the prime standpoints. We believe that, you know, urban poor should have access to hygiene and sanitation. Marginalized groups, that's our prime target groups, should have adequate and effective toilet services. Toilet should be built with standards considering environments, economic, and social and cultural values of, you know, the area of operation, and toilet should be designed in a sustainable manner. So sustainability is a very important component in Sawale. And also, Sawale endorsed a very important leading philosophy, which is if we change the environment, we can change attitude. So we believe, like, you know, people have less tendency to, you know, urinate or defecate, whatever, you know, around or in beautiful places or well-kept places. So we believe like beautifying it will reduce, you know, the harm caused by open defecation in the nation and so on and so on. So Allah believes by creating pleasing in public places alongside toilets eventually bring permanent attitudinal or behavioral change among target communities, and that's what we did. Basically, we at our pilot site, which is Magananya, we fence it, we beautify it, we orient the community, we train the prime target groups. Then we open it, and it was crazy. It's been 6 years, even using a very not like, you know, that very durable material we used, you know, to place these toilets, but still operational. Some of you who still use that terminal definitely can see what I mean. So yes, so like also we piloted in Awasa. So basically what we do is like first we beautify the place, like, you know, painting, also, you know, beautification of, like, you know, greenery and so forth and so on. This has a very important outreach for, like, focus area of intervention. I mean, as you can see, this is so Atlas strongly believes that no shintabet or toilet should be treated like, you know, with a red carpet. And now it needs that kind of attention and treatment. But like our three focus of area intervention, the first thing is like we use innovative and behavioral change communication, very innovative. I think, and I've seen on the Brian presentation, you mentioned about shame walking or the bold messaging. I think we have something similar. It's just interesting. I had no idea when we designed this all about the project. So we have very innovative behavioral change communication. Also, you know, at that moment, the only available material was this fiber glasses, whatever you call them. But now, I'll show you in slides to come. But like we believe that, you know, using available and innovative technologies to build toilets. And sustainability, as told you, is very important. That's where the livelihood, the income generating, and so forth and so on come into picture. As you can see, you know, very much communication, one of our things. We used to have amazing, funky t-shirts. That's one of my favorite. Manifesto, he said, who farted. And, you know, Ethiopians still, again, you know, obviously we should be comfortable talking about toilets and all other related issues. Like we have Getlishna, we have Mangelashana. I mean, we have quite a lot of them. Not only in the t-shirt form, but like we have, you know, all other, like, you know, stickers and different accessories, ornaments and so forth and so on. So that's one example. Also, we do like for the social media consumption, we do like different comics and so on. And in the future, we would like even to publish, you know, like a toilet book where, like, you know, everybody, you know, keeps, you know, next to his toilet seat, you know, and the toilet, you know, with all those toilets and so humors and so forth. Today, just for your information, I start collecting toilet jokes. That would be my quest for the coming one. If we get the money and stuff, you know, I pray that, you know, like we'll have Rotary sponsored toilet Amharic or Romifa or something or whatever toilet joke booklet or a toilet book where we always keep it next to our toilet, or something like, you know, we want even hand it over to all our public toilets we built. So yeah, as I told you, that's what we've been using. But like now with your support, and we definitely can use another material which is locally available and made and easy and cheaper to construct and to maintain and to use, which is eco-friendly, odor-free, and so on and so on. So I can't do the playlist, like you guys checking it out. So yes. So the reason why these toilets are still running for 6 years, are because we incorporate different services, you know, beside the toilet services. That's like there are some, we get some money from some sponsorship and branding. They do some recycling, collect some stuff. They do some side business as well, like, you know, parking, trade coffee, and so forth and so on. Besides collecting and not charging fee for the toilet services. This is the story of one woman, like one of the 18 women who involved in this project. She is deaf, because of her, you know, husband physical abuse and so on. But now, you know, she's not anymore with her husband, like making good money, independent, well empowered, economically and, you know, socially as well. These are the proud, you know, toilet owners and cleaners, and having a wonderful life. So some of the challenge, oh, like I should do this one, guys. Sorry, I should do this one. Yes, that's a perfect one. So some of the challenge, lack of open space for conservative toilets, one of the challenge, but like not anymore now. It's a big challenge. I think now we secured some good, I call them hotspots, like in the middle of slums, and where like there's lots of population sites, lots of populous areas. We secure some place as well. Disorderly of public or identification relation, absence of effective control and punishment mechanisms, inadequate waste disposal system, lack of water sources, engaging people in tourist management. So these are some of the challenge. But like, you know, compared to the challenge, when you see the opportunities, like how exciting, there is suitable national policy in place and a strong government commitment. You know, last 10 years, okay, the government claimed that they worked so hard. You know, a lot of things have been improved, but there are some policies that, you know, that needs lobbying from us and need some amendments. So, but like more or less, it's good enough, you know, to, you know, commence such projects. I think the policies and the government directives are in place. Different targets and strategy existing space target groups. There are different directives are in place. High demand for public toilets. You know, like you know how many public toilets like in Addis for almost like 80 million, you know, people. It's crazy. You know, still we are using the one like built by the French, whatever, I don't know, 90, I don't know, 10, 15, 20s, I don't know, which is like in Piazza. So like there is no public toilet around Bador. However, by the government, so toilets are very lucrative and untapped income generating schemes. This is one thing we really like, you know, targeting, because, you know, with youth unemployment is our big headache, and we believe that, you know, toilets can, you know, can contribute in curbing that problem. They're the ideal place for branding and promotion and marketing. I mean, I ask me, like, you know, whatever service I provide or any product, you know, I provide, I don't think that there will be a place like toilet wise, you know, like where my products or services, you know, would be, you know, promoted. But like, you know, there's a challenge in this country, because there are some people who think, you know, promoting their products or service in the toilet decrease the value of the product and services as a challenge for us. But like, I think that's also changing. I'm amazing, like the opportunity for like recycling, urban, whatever, agriculture, reusing and so on, fertilizer, compost, you name it. Even like, you know, energy, like methane gas and so on and so on. Very like, they are very community participatory model. So it's not only like you build toilets, but, you know, toilets we build a community that's very much aligned with our Rotary values. So that's also makes them very wonderful, very cost effective, high value for money. So this is it. So where we Rotary and us can collaborate. So I put three areas of collaboration. I mean, first of all, it's a great opportunity that, you know, and that's very fortunate that, you know, Rotary decided to make environment is a leading team. You know, that means like, you know, we will work even harder and stronger on the WASH and similar environment, you know, projects. So I believe, like, you know, toilet would be an ideal project for a Rotary family. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, I think Sharon, like I said, I hope Adam today, your club will endorse it. I'm gonna keep on, like, you know, telling our stories club to club till I get all the endorsements from every clubs, Rotary clubs, so that is to be our flagship, our one program. So I got 3 areas of collaboration that we can do. One is like, you know, we have a vision of like one toilet for one household. And this is a quest that we start together. I know the journey might be long, but like very exciting. We need to find technologies or like ideas and that where how we can bring toilets to each households. Like honestly, urban or rural, this is a very grand vision. But this is a time to like have a vision like this. The other one is like Mardi Pro still she's here, our prospect member, an architect. She's the one who designed it. So we are now working on the new design of Soale. Adam, luckily, it's not a coincidence. I believe so because you are very much aware of this as well. Because we were about to invite you to assist us the structural elements and component of this toilet. That means whether you like it or not, become Addis Ababa's project already. But we will definitely provide with all the details. But this will be the new Soale projects. Toilets, toilet designs. They are different. We put into consideration everything, like environment, economy, social, nautical, all the details. But we'll be happy to share with you the details once it's done. But like we would like the Rotary clubs and the Rotary family, to endorse this design and also like forward their inputs because we are very much open for any amendment and make it like reality so that we see these beautiful public toilets in every corner of Addis and similar capital cities and semi-urban towns and so forth and so on. And the third one collaboration I see is like Rotary toilet accessories. That's what I just call them. We can start from Rotary branded community sewage trucks to Rotary branded soaps, Rotary branded tissue papers, toilet seats, and so on and so on. Is a win-win, and I know that there are different Rotary programs, and also there are different organizations which have been working in collaboration with Rotary, which does different kind of toilet accessories. And I believe like bringing those accessories on board to Soale will make us visible, and at the same time like help us to contribute for the hygiene and sanitation situation in Ethiopia. So what a beautiful day. Happy toilet day, everyone. Enjoy your toilet. Keep it clean. Wash your hands. And it was an honor on behalf of my organization, also my club, presenting once again Soale to you, fellow Rotarians, Rotractors, Interactors, and good friends of Rotary. Happy toilet day. And we're going to keep on celebrating tomorrow as well. So if you have any toilet jokes and so on, please forward it to me because today we start celebrating toilet jokes. Preferably in Amharic. Doka would be awesome. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you very much, PP Henok. That was indeed a very interesting, at the same time brief presentation from you about Soale. There is someone, I think that's how you translated it. I think it suffices. It's a very interesting presentation indeed, but we'll definitely be talking about it later on. Maybe members and guests would have something to say about it as well. Thank you once again very much, PP Henok. Before we continue to Rotarian Sharon and the rest of the discussion, we would like to say thank you to our presenters from Australia. So before you leave, I'd like to give the chance to Rotarian past President Melbana to give vote of thanks to our speakers. Melbana, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Rotarian President Atta. Thank you for the very insightful and I think eye-opening presentations by our fellow Rotarians from Australia and our Rotarian Henoka here from Ethiopia as well. I think as mentioned through the various presentations, the idea of hygiene and sanitation is a very important element for everybody, but as also mentioned by the various speakers, it has not gotten maybe the attention it should, especially in the areas where it's a major challenge. So the projects, especially I think the idea that makes these presentations and the projects that we heard about is that they're community-led total sanitation approach is and projects were used in that sense. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see the outcome of the projects through the partnership of our club as well as the clubs in Australia, and then also the project through the organization Sawala. So we look forward to working on these projects and hearing more about them. So thank you very much to all our speakers that gave us more insight on these projects coming up and the overall issue of hygiene and sanitation projects. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, PP Melbana, for that vote of thanks. And I'd like to echo that. Thank you very much, our Rotarians and our partners from the Rotary Club of Box Hill in Australia, and also our partner International Needs Australia, and also our very own PP Henok from the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa, Central Mala, Sawala Project, Tamrat Lahiwat, you name it. Thank you very much, everyone. PP Sharon, we stopped you from presenting to us the RI-USAID partnership earlier on, a very big news. So if you are here and listening to us, please continue. Yes. Sharon, your mic is on mute.
Sorry. Thank you so much, President Adam. Before I finish up on the WASH partnership, perhaps if anybody has questions, they could put them on the chat and we could forward them to Mark Bala and his colleagues in Australia for answers. Or if anyone has something for Henok, please put it on the chat and we can address those. So let me go back to the application that we put in for the RI-USAID partnership, WASH partnership. The countries already in the partnership are Uganda and Ghana, and we would really be honored to become the third focal country. As I mentioned, we are in competition with about 15 other countries that equally need the WASH focus. The application, or whoever wins the partnership, it would be $4 million over 5 years. $2 million comes from USAID, 1.8 comes from RI, and 200,000 would come from Rotary Ethiopia, either in cash or in kind. So I was talking about what we have done in the interim to strengthen our WASH routine in Ethiopia. And I think I left off that past President Yamani is forming a WASH task force in Ethiopia, and Larry Logue from the Lake Union, Seattle, and PDG Ezra from the University Club will form a mirror task force outside of Ethiopia with our WASH partners in international clubs. We are building a technical skills database, and past President Henok is working on that with past President Astor, so that we will know all the technical skills of our Rotarian professionals, Rotarian and Rotaractors, I must say, in Ethiopia. PDG Tashoma and I are working on a stewardship committee so that we can strengthen governance of our various projects in Ethiopia. DGN AZEB has been working on technical skills training, and we have had about 6 sessions so far, and these sessions will continue. Larry Logue and I have spoken with the USAID Ethiopia focal person, and we have got her support for any collaboration that's needed in the future. Under past President Sampson from Central Mela, we have sent letters to the WHO, UNICEF, and the Gates Foundation. Rotarian Astor helped with that. We are holding back on sending a letter to the African Union until after the elections are over, when they'll have more time to focus on it. But we have asked for their collaboration in the chance that we were to win the partnership. I have talked with Splash. They were the host of Rotary Club of Addis Ababa West big WASH project, and they are very happy to partner with us if we were to become a focal country, even to the extent of writing the project proposals. they advised me that all large wash projects in Ethiopia have to go through the government's One Wash national program. And Dawit from Splash has already talked to the coordinator for One Wash about this potential, and he will give me more details in a conversation next week about it. We've had a conversation with Henak and his club due to their Hopeful River project, which is in partnership with United Nations Environmental Protection Program. Ron Denham, PDG Ron Denham, connected us with the Cleaning Rivers of the World group, and we did have a conversation and a meeting with that group there. And lastly, we had an information session at our club last week with Institute for Economics and Peace, and they related to us the Peace Index and the Ecological Threat Register for East Africa, and particularly for Ethiopia, which, Ethiopia is considered to be at the level of number 6 out of 19 countries that are most at risk for ecological threats and not having the resiliency to deal with conflict in the country. And we are working on Rotarian Gannett, President-elect Tekla Zerihun from Entoto. We are working on a peace project with the Institute for Economics and Peace, as well as with New Gen Peace Builders in the US. Dijan Azab is also on this team, and we hope that we can provide peace education to the youth across Ethiopia, because any of these projects can't succeed unless we have peace in the country, and we pray for peace. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, PP Sharon, for that wonderful news indeed. I think most of us were actually expecting to hear that, and it is it's given in a very brief way. Thank you for letting us know what's going on in that partnership, and I hope Ethiopia wins that, because a lot of people, including you majorly, have actually contributed a lot for that effort to actually make Ethiopia the winner of that, or one of the winners of that global partnership. So thank you once again. So now the floor is open to members and guests to ask any questions if you have so, or comment on anything that has been said throughout the 3 presentations. The first one was about, it focused majorly on community-led total sanitation project, which is something common in other countries, but I think it's kind of new for our country. And our club, the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa, is fortunate enough to partner with the Rotary Club of Boxing and International Leads Australia in